All right, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good whatever time you are watching this. Welcome to the Talk of the Town podcast. This is our first episode. We are super excited to get going. My name is Nick Cartmel. This is my buddy Logan. Logan, go ahead and say what up.
What is going on, everybody? My name is Logan. Like you said, with my buddy Nick here, we're super excited to bring this Talk of the Town podcast to you guys. I can't wait to dive into everything Port Huron, what makes this city the beautiful city that it is, and we're so excited for our first guest here today.
Absolutely. So, without further ado, I think we should just get right
into it.
going.
Let's
All
do
right,
it.
let's do it, Chef. So when you got a pretty cool guest on, you got to type him up a cool intro. So,
Oh, yeah.
here we go. Let's bring on our guest. He's a former hockey player for the Port Huron Beacons, now owning one of downtown's most popular restaurants. He's known as the king of breadsticks while also offering pizza, subs, salads, items off the grill, fried items, you name it, he's probably got it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome hockey player turned restaurant owner, Casey Harris.
Ooh. Nice, Casey. We appreciate you having me on.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're
Absolutely.
super geeked. No, we can't wait for this first podcast to get out. We had what a cooler guest to have, the Casey Harris on the podcast. So yeah, we're excited to jump into it.
I feel like when you think of like downtown, you think of Casey's like right away, right?
I wouldn't go that far.
I mean, we're everywhere now. We got Casey's here. We got Casey's on the plaza. I mean, everything seems to be flowing for you guys, and we're excited to kind of jump into a little bit of your background and what makes you you, as well as how you got started with this business. So,
Absolutely. So let's just start right from how business is going right now. How's everything going?
It's going great. July 1st, middle of the summer, holiday weekend. So we were busy yesterday. We've been busy for the last few months. I wish the weather would cooperate more. And I wish the fires in Canada would stop burning.
Yeah.
Because we have the outdoor patio. But you know what? It's been great. We have a great staff that helps our restaurant be what it is.
For sure, yeah.
So we've been very fortunate to have the guests and have the staff and have just great people visit us. So we've been excited and we can't wait to keep going.
No, yeah, and I think obviously, like you mentioned the weather and the air quality, and to touch on that a little bit, just like in terms of how you guys, obviously as a business owner, you have to be able to adapt, right? You have to be able to adapt on the spot and to adapt to the air quality and stuff like this. So, as a business owner, right away, just in terms of while we're still on the topic, how have you guys been adapting to the air quality and the wildfires and things like this in terms of service and customer service and things like that?
Yeah, we the north wind has helped, like at least blow through faster.
Right.
But the only thing that does not help is it doesn't let us use our 22 extra tables outside on a daily basis.
Exactly.
This time of year, usually we have 26 or so inside, 22 outside going, but not all the time have we been able to do the outside. So sometimes that creates a little bit of a line at the front door to be able to get people in and seated. But the nice thing is with our staff, the people that might be outdoor service staff, they'll come in and start helping people at least get some drinks, get some appetizers started while they are waiting before they get seated. But as far as air quality, I think with that north wind, it blows it through a little bit faster. Yep. The south wind kind of makes it linger around, makes a haze. But I, as of right now, just the adaptation is if it rains, we got to be ready to reseat people. Or we just ask people when they come in, would you rather sit inside or outside?
Exactly.
Simple as that. Yeah, a lot of fans blowing just to blow stuff around. So, yeah.
That's good.
And you mentioned your staff being able to adapt to all these challenges here and there or whatever. I think another big one that you guys handled really well, I hate to bring it up, but back in 2020, when that disease came through, right?
Yeah.
And you guys were able to stay open through carryout and everything. Just talk about kind of going through that whole challenge and what you guys did to go through that.
Yeah, obviously when we heard the original 2-week shutdown, we're like, okay, we'll get some projects done. Some of the bar staff will have to just kind of go away for 2 weeks just because they weren't needed as much. And then as it went on and kept on going on, we started adapting, and some people that weren't able to get benefits at other restaurants or some of our staff that some of their benefits ran out, they said, hey, can we get to work? And then we started adapting with curbside pickup. We started promoting our delivery more. We actually took some of our area and made more outdoor dining because that was permittable. So over those 27 weeks, we went about 40 employees up to at one point 107. Wow. So our business did grow during COVID because we made the effort, stayed open, scraped every nickel we could to make the restaurant better, cleaner, and ready to go when they did lift the seating ban in February of 2021, maybe, I think.
Right.
But yeah, it was 27 stressful weeks. They kept everything. They made more and more rules, but weren't taking any away. So every day we had to adapt. And every 2 weeks they made something crazy up. And then we just kept on adapting just so we could stay open, keep the employees going, and keep money coming into the restaurant.
Yeah, and I think that's, obviously a really good part on your guys' end is just to be able to kind of push through those hard times. As a business owner, obviously, it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows, if you will. So staying open like that was definitely a good part on you guys. And obviously, it helped you. Like you said, it growed your business. And we've been talking a lot about the aspect of you guys adapting. And while we're still kind of on the topic of how you guys are doing right now, in terms of adapting, you guys do have seasonal menus, if I'm correct, right? You guys have seasonal menu you guys come out with every season. So what can we? You guys have a new one coming out here soon.
Yeah, we just switched over last week to our summer menu. So we try to do at least 4 to 6. So we do every season. Then we try to do a holiday one as well. Okay. So minimum 5. Most of the time, with summer being a little bit longer, we add one in there in the middle of August. And all we do is basically try to find some cool, trendy foods that people wouldn't think comes from a pizzeria. And we add them on the menu just because we have talented cooks that work for us. We add it on the menu. We try them out. If people like them and love them and keep on asking for them, they might eventually make our full everyday menu, which we have a few that have over the last 6 months. But we rotate that, and we rotate some cocktails. And then this time of year, we do a lot of tequila cocktails that are just unique, like just stuff that the bartenders come up with. Different fresh juices and spices, and they throw them together, and we make some funny names and sell them that way. So people really look forward to the seasonal cocktails and then the different trendy foods that we might do.
Right. I mean, so customers really look forward to that stuff. I also think was that something that your staff really looks forward to, kind of being like more creative and instead of just like going through the everyday operations, right?
The staff does enjoy the new menu items because some of them we like to put their name on it. Some will just mention, hey, drinks by, Bob, drinks by Nikki. So people do take pride in getting their name on the menu, and or it's just something fresh too. So instead of going in and cooking the same pasta dish over and over and over every day, now we're changing up and doing tortellini one couple weeks, and then might throw in fettuccine, just some different things. And if during that season, if something's not working out, the nice thing is on paper, we take them off, add something new on, and go from there.
Yeah. Speaking of names, I believe is your wife on one of the, is it a Carrie's Cobb is what she is.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah.
It's one of my funny story with that is during the printing of the menu, it was Casey's Cobb. Just we had a Cobb salad. It was Casey's Cobb just because everything was Casey's. And then her name was like on a baked potato. She's like, how did I get the baked potato? So when she was proofreading the menu for us, she meant to change it. She thought it was funny. Like she sent it to the printer and it said Carrie's on it, but she meant to actually change it, but she forgot to. So it came back as Carrie's Cobb salad. Okay. And then when we first started doing the Cobb, like it was pretty, like we weren't prepped for it. Like now we prep for it every day. So we know that, hey, boom, we're going to have these tomatoes cut, this feta already crumbled. But back then we used to do it one by one, and it took a while to make a Cobb salad. So all the staff was like, that was the most hated item. Like, Carrie, I'm going to kill you, Carrie. I can't believe you have this on the menu. But now we're prepared for it. And we sell so many of them that it's Carrie's Cobb. And and she owns it. I'm sure she eats it very often, but it's Carrie's Cobb on the menu. And it was just a funny story that hindsight, I missed when it got to the printer and it came back. Carrie's Cobb, 10,000 menus later, it was still on there.
Hey, sounds like it's a hit salad.
So before we get too much further into kind of what's going on right now in your business and more just how you grew your business in general, we'd like to let the audience know more about you as a person and kind of how you grew up. So you grew up in Indiana, correct?
Yeah, I grew up in a small town, Carmel, Indiana. My dad played professional hockey. So when he was at the end of his career, he ended up in Indianapolis for the Indianapolis Racers, and they all lived outside of town. So I grew up there, and my parents had a very similar restaurant to what we have here, but we just did some tweaks to make our restaurant different than theirs by just what we saw trend-wise. Theirs is the old school original pizzeria in 1984, Carmel, Indiana, and we just kind of took their recipes and put them on steroids to make what Casey's is today.
And in terms of that jump and that transition from going from growing up in Indiana and hockey player turned business owner, obviously, like Nick was saying in the beginning. I want to kind of dive into a little more of your background in terms of your hockey career and how that kind of sparked the flame for being a business owner today, and kind of that progression along the way in terms of growing up playing hockey, and then how you ultimately got here to Port Huron.
Yeah. So grew up in Indiana. I moved away when I was 15 to go to a military school to improve the grades and improve my hockey ability. From there, I moved to Toronto, played a year in Toronto, ended up getting a scholarship to go to Ferris State University, which that's kind of my roots to Michigan. In the summertime, I used to teach little kids, and that meet my wife that way because she lived in the Royal Oak area. We spent some time in Royal Oak. And this whole time, I kept on missing my parents' food. I missed the Italian sub and breadsticks. But why I was, before I even got married, I ended up playing professional hockey back in my hometown. And so every day I was eating like my parents' food. Because first of all, I was playing minor pro hockey, which didn't pay the greatest. So I didn't want to go out to eat all the time. So I just used to go there and welch off of them every single day for lunch. And then my buddies on the team would just all come too. So I probably still owe a pretty big tab there from those years. But why I was there, my second year playing there in Indianapolis, I was married. So my wife came and she started working for my parents as a job. So she enjoyed what my parents were doing, being able to work together every single day, making food, having some good times. So she was the spark to me to say, hey, a few years later when I was done with hockey, hey, let's try to do what your parents did. So that was our idea. Like once I decided to stop playing for the Beacons here locally in Port Huron, we enjoyed the town. Loved Port Huron. I mentioned that to you guys off camera that it's awesome. Like for me being an outsider to have that blue water, I feel like I'm on vacation every day.
Oh yeah.
Just so fortunate. So we wanted to stay here in Port Huron. And then she said, well, why don't we open up a restaurant, and do what your parents do. So, and that's was the spark was because of playing in Indianapolis, my wife working, seeing what my parents did. She kind of wanted to do the same thing. I missed the food. So it was boom. It was, that's how we got to where we started back in 2006.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in terms of a progression towards where you're at today, and I believe did you guys start off having a bed and breakfast? Was it here in Port Huron that you guys had the bed and breakfast?
Yeah. So if we take one jump back, we got married in Port Huron in 2001.
Okay.
So 22 years ago yesterday, we got married in Port Huron. Just because a lot of my family, even though my dad and I was raised in Indianapolis, my dad's side of the family was in Toronto. My wife's side of the family was Detroit area. So we got married here at the Thomas Edison Inn, which is now the DoubleTree. We got married there, 22 years ago, and we stayed overnight. We had one day before we left on our honeymoon, so we stayed overnight at a bed and breakfast that was right there on the beach. And the lady just so happened to be selling. And we're like, oh man, what a good opportunity. We could run this in the summertime so we're employed. And in the wintertime, we could just close it up and go live wherever hockey takes us.
Yeah.
Well, at the time when we bought the bed and breakfast, we had no plans on playing in Port Huron. Okay. So that was just coincidence that bought the bed and breakfast. I was here. We were going to go to Bakersfield, California to play. And then all of a sudden, the coach that came into town, we had crossed paths years prior. And he's like, hey, what do you want to play here? And I was like, yeah, it'd be great. So I got my release from California, stayed here and played. We were able to keep the bed and breakfast open. My wife was working for a company at the time, so she was able to work. I was able to play hockey, so it was great to do that. And then the summertime, I just kind of ran the bed and breakfast with her. And then down the road, when the team did leave to go to Richmond, we decided not to make the move just because her job was good. We had 2 kids at the time, and I said, we decided to stay back and move on to the next career, which was building the restaurant.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So after your hockey career, like you said, you're now at the point you're starting to build the restaurant. Um, you basically built this thing from like not really the ground up exactly, but you were really just kind of you went right at it. You were like hard working at it, right? Like it wasn't really slowly planned out. It was just like, hey, you got this idea in your head, let's go do it. So kind of talk about like that mentality of just being like a go getter and just kind of getting right after it.
Yeah. So I was done playing hockey. My wife was working. My mother and father-in-law wanted to build a little place down in like 26 in Van Dyke.
Okay.
So my uncle, who came in to put an extra wing on my house because we had too many kids for the bed and breakfast, that he put a little extra space on it. And I helped him build it one summer in between playing hockey. That was my summer job. Took us like 16 weeks. We built this awesome wing onto our house. Right. And then from there, they're like, oh, do you guys want to do this renovation? We're like, yeah, sure. So we started renovating. And that whole time we're renovating, we're eating out every day. We kept on eating at all these different restaurants, and we kept on saying, man, wish we had Greek Tony's, which is my parents' place. Wish we had it. So my uncle was the first person that said, hey, why don't you do it? Because Carrie, it was in my wife, every night we'd come home because he was living with us, would say, hey, why don't we do this? Why don't we do this? So he finally gave us the jump forward to saying, why don't you try to do this? So we did. He left to go home. We ended up closing on this property across the street. In July, I literally every single day woke up from July to maybe October. I can't remember how long. It was months. And I just kind of just gutted the building, like little room by little room, and finally got to the front of the building where I could see out for the first time because it literally was flashlights.
Right.
Because I couldn't turn the power on in the building.
Oh, yeah.
So literally got it done there, and then my uncle came into town, and we started building from there. And it took us about 6 months to build, and we finally opened up at the end of February, early March of 2006. But yeah, it was hands on, like build it from scratch, scrounged around at every auction to buy stuff. I had $0.
Right.
And we put everything on credit cards because no bank wanted to trust in a former hockey player. And then, like I said, with my wife working, and we already had a business going, that they're like, no. So literally every credit card company that we knew, we did the old 0% interest for 6 months. And that's how we got started.
Right.
Yeah.
And so how important, so like for business owners in general, like so for Logan, he's a photographer, I'm a videographer. In our case, it's more about like the equipment, right? So people might think, oh, you need this X amount of equipment to actually get started into a business. And then for you, like you said, it was just kind of, all the supplies and all that, and you had to do the like credit card route. So kind of talk about for any business owner out there, why is it important just to like start and not necessarily wait until you have all like these resources that you need?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, we did slow. So we opened up our original side of the building in 2006. We always wanted a bar to be attached to it, and there was property next to us at the time too. But we opened up, slowly got going. We're able to manage. I think we started out with like 11 employees. Like I said, all my equipment was used. I don't think there was one new piece. Maybe one refrigerator was new. The rest was every auction, every place that closed, just going there, buying it, bringing it back, trying to get it to fit. Got up and running. And it was tough for us at the start because we opened up during one of the housing crisis back in 2006, 7, 8. So everything was kind of just flat. We weren't growing. But then we started to grow a little bit. The economy started coming back. Port Huron started to grow a little bit. And then we bought the building next door. So, sorry, it wasn't a building, it was just a piece of property. End up borrowing money from family to add on the bar area. Got the builder to do it, added the bar area on. It took about 6-8 months to get that done. We opened up like on boat weekend in 2012.
Okay.
And then from there, that looked really cool. And people kept on reviewing, oh yeah, go to Casey's, but get through the old side and get into the new side.
Yeah.
So that sparked interest. Like, okay, now we got to renovate the other side. So
Right.
2014, a couple of years later, when we had some money, we renovated our original restaurant to look like the bar, just to get everything to tie together. And then from there, people kept on asking, do you have French fries? Do you have French fries? Do you have French? And I was like, no, we don't, no fryers or no fryers there. So that sparked our interest. Take away a room that we used to seat private parties in and make a bigger kitchen that we could do fries and burgers and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So in 2017, we did that. And then we got that going, and we had plans to do one more little project right before COVID hit. And we just, by the size of our building, just added such a big expense on that we just didn't want to tackle. And it was basically to cover our current occupancy outside. So if in case it does rain, we don't have to scramble and run. But we're like, okay, it's only about 8 or 10 days a year, and that big of expense we were fine with putting the roof and stuff on, but it was the sprinklers and extra bathrooms and extra this and that we had to do because we had outgrown the minimal space for what we had by the state of Michigan standards. So we just put that project on hold, and gratefully, which I know you guys might lead into in a minute, gratefully, the city came to us and asked us to run their plaza. So what we did, instead of adding on and doing that to try to create some music and different vibes at the restaurant a block away, now the city, up for us managing the city's bar in there, we're able to have that music and that different vibe that we were looking for. That would have put a lot of restrictions on us there through the state of Michigan. Now we were able to do it at a location a block away.
So yeah, we've been talking about a lot of development, a lot of growth, and a lot of change over time, a lot of adaptation, obviously, adapting to new circumstances. Things have changed over the years. You guys obviously have moved to the plaza, like you've mentioned. But I want to jump back a little bit. You've mentioned your staff multiple times. You've mentioned it. Obviously, you guys grown your staff during the COVID years. And you've also been talking about how you guys have a large staff now. What everyone knows, obviously Casey's known for the large staff and how you're not, the food is bang bang. You're not waiting a long time, which is awesome customer service. What does having a large staff do for you guys, and what is the benefit for any business owner out there of having a large staff like you guys do?
Yeah, so our staff is, and being 16 years in business has been good because we hire a lot of friends of friends. So if somebody knows out there, and we know this employee's a nice person, nice girl, nice guy, and most of the time they're going to hang out with people that are nice. And if they're looking for work, anybody that's looking for work, we like to hire.
Right.
So by having a large staff, it gives the staff the time off that they might need. We're always off on Sundays, so that's great. But if they want another day off during the week, or if they got to go to this concert, boom, I don't make them stay because we have a large staff that can cover for it. And we give the staff the flexibility of switching shifts too. Long as somebody is there that can do their job, we let them switch, really no questions asked. So by having a large staff, we can get their time off, make it a little bit easier on them while they're working, so they can take the break they might need, go outside, check their phone, come back in, be ready to work again. So we kind of overstaff. So just in case there is an emergency where somebody's got to leave or somebody can't make it in, we already have that person there. So that way they're not just stressed out and grumpy and like, I hate this place, I want to go. So we have a very untraditional kitchen. We play music in the kitchen. There's 14 of us on a busy night in the kitchen, where a lot of restaurants might have about 5 or 6. So there's extra people in there. I hear people laughing a lot, having a good time. Just so we keep it very light, because at the end of the day, we're just cooking food. So we're not doing open heart surgery back there. We're cooking food. We want people to have a good time. But then again, we want the food to come out fast so we can get it to the customer quickly. They can eat. If they got to catch a show, they get up, they got to go. Then we can sit the next table quicker as well. So that's kind of what we have a big staff for, is first of all, I don't want to burn anybody out. And then second of all, get the time off they need and get the customer in and out. If the customer wants to stay, no problem. Stay there, have some drinks, relax. But if they're in a rush, get going. Let's make sure they get their food, and that way it's on them when they leave versus it's on us waiting for the food. And sometimes it happens. Like it was a holiday weekend last night. I mean, we were slammed.
Oh yeah.
And we usually run about 25 to 30 minutes to get food to a customer once they order. I mean, last night was about 45 or 50, but we're blessed. I mean, a lot of people ordering takeout, a lot of people ordering delivery, people coming in and sitting down. So it was just one of those nights that was perfect, and the staff kicked butt. We had a couple of key people off, taking their own personal time, and we had the other staff that was in there, and they just kicked butt last night. So super proud of them.
That's awesome.
I think that just speaks a lot. Like, so when I go into Casey's, I notice just the atmosphere every time is just like everybody's happy. It's like you said, a good atmosphere. So I want to just kind of stay on the topic of the staff, and I respect you a lot for that, because I know like there's a lot of business owners out there that will that just care about making the money, things of that nature. But you seem to care a lot more about your staff than any of that, and I think that's important, obviously, for a business. Another thing that I've noticed with you is you're in the restaurant basically. Like it seems like anytime I'm there to eat, you're in there. So like, talk about your kind of hands-on mentality. You would you say you have a pretty hands-on mentality when you're in the restaurant?
I would say over the last 16 years, very hands-on.
Mm-hmm.
Over the last year, I unfortunately hurt my back pretty bad
Okay.
back in May of last year. So now it gets tougher for me to cook. So I can't twist and turn, bend, go up and down, do all that stuff that needed to be quick and fast because it just puts me back a day if I do. But I go in there every day. Now I just concentrate on making sure we have the employees that we need, the food that we need, the bills that need to be paid, anything that needs to be done social media wise, advertising wise, we try to do throughout that day. So during the week, I try to be there morning when we set up, all the way through lunch hour, and then I try to break away to be with some family in the evening times. Then the weekend's a little bit different. Once that Friday morning hits, I know, hey, 48 hours, it's going to be Sunday, be able to spend some time with the family. So I am there a lot, but I enjoy being there. If I didn't enjoy being there, I wouldn't be there.
Exactly.
I do something else. And I split my time on the weekends now with having great staff and great managers. I split my time. I go down to the plaza, make sure they're all set up, come back to the restaurant, check on the restaurant, go back to the plaza, help them finish up. I do have great personnel that have been with us for a while and that they're just trustworthy. So I just know they're going to do just as good a job for me, whether I'm standing there next to them or not. So that's what gives me an ease when I fall asleep at night, that I know that, boom, that's going to be done, that they're going to do a great job for me, because at the end of the day, they're representing Casey's. So a lot of people don't know who I am or who my wife is, but when they come in there, they see the shirt that says Casey's on it, and hopefully the staff is representing the quality I would like. And I think for the most part they do, because we do get so many good reviews, and I can't wait to go back there. I had a great review last night. I screenshotted it because it made me so proud. I can't wait to go back there and show everybody, like print it up and show them how awesome this guy was from out of town that loved his food that much in the service. So we hit every aspect because we pride ourselves on having good food, but we want great service. So we use quality stuff, but at the end of the day, service is what I think brings a lot of people back. And that's what we stress to everybody, is just do a good job, be happy, get the customer what they need,
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, and I mean, you touched on a lot of, obviously there's a lot of different aspects to a business, right? Being a business owner, there's, you got the hands-on stuff, and you guys also have the stuff that goes on behind the scenes that a lot of people don't see, right? And so I want you to kind of touch on, you mentioned advertising, you mentioned kind of getting your name out there. Obviously, it wasn't easy starting from building your business from the ground up. You had to get lots of years in business. You had to get people to get to know your name. But I want you to kind of touch on what kind of types of like advertising you guys do to kind of get you. I know you guys are obviously up and running now, like you said, 16 years, but what do you guys still do today in order for people to know, especially coming in from out of town, that they want you to come to your spot? So in terms of advertising, what have you guys been doing in marketing, things like that? So just for some business owners out there.
So it is very tough when a person's opening up a business. And I say some of the reasons some businesses are in and out pretty quick is because nobody knows they're there. So there's businesses in downtown that I know they're there, but I'm not reminded that they're there. I just see it every once in a while. The downtown, the DDA posts something about it. But for us, we started out, opened up. We did a little bit of print advertising because the paper was still a big thing. Like a hands-on paper was big back in 2006. People still got the paper. Now it's all digital. But we did that, and then we got into the radio media, and then radio really helped us. People, you wouldn't think it would, but people do, when they're driving around, they hear about it. So we got into the radio, and that did. People were coming in saying, "Hey, man, I heard you on the radio." Then I started laughing. I joked with my radio salesman. I was like, "Are you paying people to come in and say that so I stay with you?" type deal. But we started that, and that did help increase business. It helped increase business. And then eventually Facebook and Instagram came around where it became more and more popular. So we started building up there, then TikTok. So now with having kids that are old enough, high school age, they help me with those trends and say, hey, let's do this one. And then they help us do it. So we're a lot of social media. I would say social media is outweighing some of the radio and the print stuff that we do. But for a business owner, you got to get your name out there and you got to remind people. You can't just do it for a 3-month period and spend all your money in that 3 months. You got to do it for the longevity so people know you're there and they're constantly reminded that you're out there.
You know, Casey, I kind of miss those TikTok. Where are the TikToks at?
I know.
I want to see these too. Who makes them?
I've seen a couple of them.
So
but...
during COVID and that, I made a lot of them.
Yeah.
And then the last few my daughters have made, and then we have 3 or 4 ready to rock. We just have to edit them because they're filming them on their own phone.
Okay.
And then they take them and edit them on my phone just because it's the count. It's just easier that way. So we do have a couple ready to rock. And I even gave them incentive. I was like, hey, I won't make you pay for your food at the restaurant. Just get them done. So we got them coming. And there's a couple funny ones coming.
That's awesome. I was going to say, I've seen a couple of them, and it definitely helps that you guys are moving towards the trends today. And I want to talk on that just a little bit. And how you guys kind of stay up to date, because times have changed, obviously, over the last 16 years. There's been lots of technological advancements, lots of advancements in any aspect of life. And so 2 things. What things have you guys been doing to keep up with the trends? And then after that, I kind of want to talk about the outdoor patio and some things you guys are renovating right now. I noticed the green ivory on the wall, and I noticed I think I've heard you guys are going to put some signs on that just to kind of make it go a little more trendy with today's vibes, if you will, but I'm just kind of touch on that just a little bit.
Yeah. So as far as trends go, my wife and I love to go to cool spots, eat, and just check things out. And I feel like it's the ultimate compliment if you can go to a restaurant and say, oh my God, they did that great. Let's try that at our place.
Yep.
And I see it here. Like we do a couple of things that I've seen other restaurants now put on their menu. And I'm like, oh man, I was the only one doing that. Now this place is doing it. And no problem. Do it. Yeah. Like I said, that's an ultimate compliment to us and our staff. So if we find something cool at a restaurant, we always try to try it because, well, if it's working good for them, maybe it'll work good for us too. Exactly. So like little things that we see. So we see some stuff just through Instagram that we think that might be trendy. We try out. So we gain some ideas that way, or visiting places in general. Detroit's super cool. Got to be the comeback city of the half century, I would say. 50 years ago, well, not 50 years ago. Yeah. I would say 20 years ago, nobody even thought about going down there except for a baseball game and back. And then all of a sudden now everybody's living down there, hanging out, walking the streets. It's cool. The restaurants, the hotels. I love it. Like we love visiting. I visited last week, Thursday, went down to the Rocket Mortgage and hung out there. So pretty cool. We get a lot of ideas from there. And then as far as bringing them back here, like that ivy, like you see those like in a lot of major cities. And we had a fence that was just kind of getting beat up, and we put new fencing in. And the city actually had a program too that any fixing up you did of your property, long as it made your property look nice and you could see it, they would cut you a check as well for half the cost. So we changed our fence fence out front, just to make it cool and trendy like they do in different cities. We added some fence in the back to make it look cool too, and redid our parking lot a little bit because people were asking, hey man, you got to fix your parking lot. So not just the city asking, it's just customers in general to do it. And then to cover up that fence, we did put that fake ivy on there. We got a Casey's neon sign coming so people can take pictures in front of it. Yeah. So we've been doing things to make it look nicer and better. And we still have a couple more ideas. We threw some speakers out there to get the vibe going.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah. So the different color umbrellas just makes some color out there. So we do have some ideas. And like I said, next thing up is like some fire pits. We have one, but by putting the fire pits out there, we have to be strategic about it because of being too close to both sides of our buildings. But so we do have some things, but like I said, we just don't jump all at once because we don't want to do something and go in debt to do it. So the cosmetic stuff, we kind of just slowly get into it, make sure we have the funds to do it, then jump into it and go from there.
So, I mean, I obviously keeping up with the trends is like super important to grow a business and everything. Also, I feel like sticking to your roots at the same time, which I think you guys do a great job of balancing them both, is also important. So growing up as a kid, were you like super involved in the restaurant? Were you able to like take away a lot of the things? Because I I see a lot of your families in there. Like most of your kids work at the restaurant, right?
Yeah. So,
So yeah, just kind of talk about that.
I zero involvement
Okay.
at my parents'
Okay.
restaurant. I grew up there. I slept a lot of nights there while they were working and doing stuff. I just usually played video games and went and laid on a bench afterwards. I was really young, and then once the restaurant really started taking off, I had moved away. So 10 years into the restaurant, I had moved away and just came back and ate the food. But zero involvement until we decided to open up a restaurant. Then I went down there and made like my first pizza ever, like a month before we opened. I did like a little internship down there for a couple weeks and kind of learned. And then the nice thing was my parents came up here for the first week or two that we were open and really helped myself and the staff out of how to make the dough, how to do these breadsticks, how to do this, how to do that, how to slice the meat properly, stuff like that. So by having their knowledge really was helpful. And then having family backing with some extra funds, because any person that opens up a business, they're never on budget.
Right.
Like they're never on budget. So for that, we're internally grateful that we were able to have some funds here and there available to us when we went to open at the last minute. Oh my, we need this. We need these napkins. So between the family, the food company, really helped us out when we first opened up.
Oh yeah, and I want to piggyback off of what Nick was mentioning there, just about kind of backtracking to your college days and the education you received from Ferris State, because I know you played hockey at Ferris, correct?
Yeah, I played hockey at Ferris and
Okay.
went there for visual communications, which was a business degree, but
Okay.
it specialized in like graphic design. So graphic design when I was there was a lot of print media because I was there 95 to 99. But my last couple of years, that's when Apple came out with their big laptop, and I was able to do a lot of work, and it kind of started switching over to like the internet was becoming more and more popular.
Yep.
So everything kind of started switching my senior year, but mine was a lot of print media. So when I went to do the restaurant, we did a lot of that graphic stuff, like with our own photography, our own menus, like we kind of laid everything out and did them ourselves and just sent them to the printer. So that might help us a little bit aesthetically now. Just having that business degree with the design kind of helps us that we might notice something that's a little bit different than a different business owner might notice.
So that plays a lot in your menu then, right? Would you say? So,
with colors and stuff like that, it does play a lot.
So while we're on that topic of the menu, and kind of backtracking on what I mentioned earlier, as far as growing the menu, you started out mainly as pizza and like subs and things of that nature, right? And then you added on the grill and like the fryers and all that. So how much like growth did you see in the business after you added in the different menu items and things of that nature?
A lot of growth, yeah. So I can't give you a percentage because I really don't
Yeah,
know.
right.
I don't, but it did jump our business. So the bar, bringing people in because we had alcohol, jumped the business. And then renovating the other side of our restaurant, because it was 2 buildings now. By renovating that, it really opened up more and more windows, ceiling to ground. People could see in there and like, oh man, cool, let's go try that. So that grew the business. And then we wanted people to come back faster. So instead of just coming once every 10, 15 days for a pizza or a salad, we wanted that burger or chicken sandwich. So they might show up twice a week or twice every 2 weeks. So by changing the menu and adding those things, it brought customers back faster than just having the same basic menu with pizza, subs, and salads.
I think for me, that's like probably for you too, Chef.
yeah.
Is that like a main reason why like we just love that variety in the menu?
Oh yeah.
And speaking of menu items and things of that nature,
I was waiting for you to pull this up. So yeah, I was wondering if you
so we did ask our Instagram followers a question. Basically, find the screenshots here. So we asked them. First, it was like their wildest pizza combinations. We didn't get too many on that. We didn't have too many followers at the time, and then we just kind of asked unpopular opinions, pizza topping unpopular opinions. So we're gonna start. We'll just get this one out of the way. I think it's
I know what you're gonna
blasphemous,
say.
Casey. Tuna on pizza. What?
No way. Absolutely not. Ever.
I
Chef.
can't. No, I can't do tuna.
Yeah.
I can't do tuna by itself either. And paired with pizza, I just think it doesn't go
Yeah.
together.
Imagine
Just
cook
don't
like even if you sear tuna. Yeah, I know. There's no way.
Yeah.
Especially if you're thinking like tuna, like chicken of the sea tuna.
Like canned tuna.
Yeah,
on there.
canned tuna. No
Yeah.
way.
Oh,
like
God.
terrible. Like I don't think a cat would eat that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't judge, but tuna on pizza is not really.
We're not going to say your name, but
Yeah, no.
You know,
you
who-
know.
No.
You know.
Yeah, that person knows.
Next one. Let's see. Okay, we got to get this one out of the way. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
No,
No.
I don't. And we
Yeah.
sell a lot of it, but my pineapple on pizza, it doesn't melt our cheese.
Yeah.
There's so much water in that pineapple that when you go to cook your pizza, it just doesn't cook up well.
Yeah.
So that's my takeaway from the pineapple on pizza. Even if you heat up your pineapple, by the time it goes to the oven, that pineapple does just leak its juices
Right.
and it doesn't help with the pizza toppings. Yeah, it doesn't cook it.
I feel like the only time I'd consider it is like with like barbecue sauce or like
Yeah.
barbecue chicken type pizza, but
Yeah.
definitely not with like tomato or I can't do that.
Yeah, no, it doesn't go well. But we do sell a lot, but it's not what I like. Yeah.
I feel like people are either just like super out, like they're either one side or just like way on the other side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Either you love it or you absolutely hate it. There's like no in between.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm more of like a plain. I'm
Jane?
more plain Jane kind of guy. I'm not
Last night
pineapple
I was
or-
craving 8:30 at night pepperoni pizza.
Yep.
There you
I
go.
mean, I stuck with the basic. I got a small pepperoni pizza, took it home, ate most of it. My dog was right next to me, drooling so fiercely that I had to give him because he loves pizza and sandwiches. So I had to share a little
Okay.
of my dinner with him. But
hey,
he's a
that's always
pepperoni pizza guy too.
That's awesome.
And then so the last one, this one wasn't too unpopular. I actually like prefer this on pizza is banana peppers.
Yeah, banana peppers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
super popular.
Mm-hmm.
We go through a lot of banana peppers. We use Gilo right up the road.
Okay.
So in Lexington, I mean, a lot of our jalapenos, banana peppers and pickles all come from
Yep.
local. And what's more popular than your banana peppers is pickles on pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, super
That-
popular. That
yeah.
pickle pizza is super popular. And I would say if you haven't tried it, you got to try it one time. Even
Right.
if you come in as an appetizer,
For sure.
just order it for the table, a small pizza for everybody to try versus like maybe breadsticks one time. And
Yeah.
you'll be blown away that most of the time later you will find yourself ordering it one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've tried it once, and I will say I before I even tried it, I was like, I'm not sure how I feel, but it actually was pretty good. I mean, it was not what you would expect, but it's. I mean, you guys do a really good job.
Yeah, it's just
so.
crazy. It was a trend back like in 2018 that just kind of stuck around,
Okay.
especially in the Detroit area. You don't see it very often anywhere else.
No.
Somebody in Detroit started doing it and just worked its way up here. And like I said, we sell a lot of dill pickle pizzas.
I mean, like you said, keeping up with the trends and
Yeah.
yeah.
you see what happens, right? It's still popular.
Yeah,
pretty
I would
popular
say it's
today,
in the
right?
top 5
Yeah.
pizzas that we sell.
Yeah.
on
It
a
would
daily
Probably.
basis.
I wouldn't doubt it. I
Yeah,
wouldn't doubt
we
it.
go
to be
through,
honest.
I don't know, 30 gallons of pickles a week, and we do them on subs and stuff like that. But still, a lot of it's going to pizzas.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, while we're on the
I was gonna say, yep.
pizza topic and more popular item topic, so we're gonna do a little draft here.
Let's do it.
So all you gotta do, so we'll go you first. I'll go second. Chef, you'll go third.
Yep.
You'll get the second two or whatever. But any all-time menu item could have been any seasonal menu, any menu at all. Could even be a drink. Just whatever you think the people will vote on, right?
We do
So
3 picks each.
we'll do a little
We
do a
got
little
3
vote.
picks?
See who
Yep, 3
wins.
picks.
Yeah.
Picks.
3 picks.
So you go ahead first, Casey. Let's see what you got.
I'm going with all-time popular. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Breadsticks.
Yep, I
Hey,
knew it.
That's money.
Sorry.
That's
Sorry,
it.
guys.
That's the pick.
Breadsticks.
I wasn't even
I
had that in
mean,
mind because I
there's
already knew it was.
so many people that come in and like, oh my God, I was craving their breadsticks. You know, I moved to New York. I moved to Chicago. I'm back visiting my family. First stop, waiting from the airport, dozen breadsticks to go. So I crave the breadsticks more for the nacho cheese sauce than I actually do the breadsticks. So anything I eat is always a side of nacho cheese. Our town is a ranch town. Like everybody wants ranch with everything.
Yeah. I kinda realized that.
And it's different, but I am a nacho cheese with everything.
Yeah, I'd say it's like what the Michael Jordan of breadsticks
Oh,
or something
dude,
like
yeah.
that.
I mean, it's top. It's top tier.
See,
So
there's
sorry,
like-
I stole it already. I stole the
Nah.
breadsticks. Sorry.
I expected it.
It's
It's,
like-
not.
It's like Casey breadsticks, then like what Little Caesars or
Yeah,
something.
it's like
it's a huge gap
it's
from
a
first
pretty
second
big
place
gap,
in my
so
opinion. But
no worries there in terms of
um,
comparison.
so let's see. First pick, I gotta
Go
go.
with Nick.
I don't know, popular. Well, Actually, I think these were pretty popular. The steak tacos,
Yeah.
right? Those were,
Yep.
yeah, love those.
Christmas seasonal
Yeah.
menu, or I guess holiday seasonal menu. Steak tacos, they kick butt. We actually kept them on throughout the winter because it was so popular.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never tried them, but I've heard really good reviews about them, especially from Casey's. So I think it's like
Just a
it's safe
traditional
pick.
like steak street taco.
Yeah, actually,
Just enough of everything on it just to
Yep.
crush.
yeah, I made the one of the videos for that, right?
Oh yeah.
We had to taste test them like for the first time or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
Shout out what's his Jeremy?
Jeremy,
Jeremy,
baby, yeah.
Jeremy, you cook up some good steak
Yeah, good
tacos,
job.
dude.
That's awesome.
Yes,
Shout
sir.
out, Jeremy.
All right, Chef, what you got?
I'm going safe pick here. I'm pretty sure everyone likes this. I love it. It's what I get mostly every single time I come to Casey's is barbecue chicken pizza. It's just there's something about it. I mean, I'm craving pizza. I'm like, yeah, I'm going straight barbecue chicken. I'm not a veggie guy though, so I get no veggies. But well, I'm a veggie. I shouldn't say that. I should say I'm not a veggie on pizza guy.
Okay.
And so I usually go just straight barbecue chicken, and that's the pick I'm going with. It's my favorite there.
Yeah,
So
it's top. You're right.
Yeah.
For sure.
we just want to take a quick break here. Want to thank Mark Bynum, the mortgage man, for allowing us to use this wonderful space inside of AmeriFirst Home Mortgage Building. Again, thank you, Mark. Anyone who is interested in any sort of home mortgage, make sure you contact Mark today for all your mortgage needs.
All right, Chef, what you got for pick number 2?
Yeah, pick number 2, I'm going Philly cheesesteak automatically for me. It's a classic. Like I said, if I'm not getting barbecue chicken pizza, next step down for me is Philly cheesesteak, and I think it's just you guys make it perfectly. Not too much, not too little, but right there is perfect.
All right. Yeah, it's cool. It's an untraditional way to make a Philly.
Yeah.
Just a lot of veggies in that. But it was kind of like our version. That was the means that we had to work with. And I think I have it a lot. So
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I eat it without onions all the time.
Yep.
I smash those a lot. So good
Yeah.
pick.
Let's see. For my number 2, I was gonna go with the barbecue chicken, but
I stole it from you,
Shaq took
Nick.
it.
Stole it from you.
Let's go with the crisscross Sammy. I feel like
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that's
Okay.
always a popular one. I always
Yeah.
see somebody with that, but
That's good.
I think I was talking to Chad one time about it. Chad works at Casey's. He's my brother, by the way. He's saying how hard, like sometimes they're so hard to make because like they're
Oh
in the
man,
oven.
I remember the very first time we put it on our seasonal menu on the holidays, and we always do our holiday seasonal menu starts on the Friday after Thanksgiving, and that day we literally got 3 or 4 from the same table, put them in the oven, thinking we knew what we were doing, and then all of a sudden like burnt. As burnt could be. I'm like, oh my God. And they take a while to cook.
Yeah.
So we're going back. And actually, at the exact same time, we had these 2 guys trying to fix our oven because something went haywire on it. And they showed up on like the worst day to fix an oven. But at least they were there fixing it. So we have these 2 guys working on the oven, one speaking like in Russian or something. I was just getting frustrated. So myself and this Bob were making these. We throw them back in. Burn to a crisp again, and they
Oh,
take a
no.
while to cook. So all of a sudden we're like, "Oh my God, what are we doing wrong here?" And what happened was we just needed to put an extra screen on it, like underneath it, so it wouldn't burn it wouldn't go through as much. And then finally, the third time we nailed it, but by that time I think we had given them away, and then literally wasted all this food trying to
Yeah.
make these things. But one of those things that happened was it was so popular that the next one we did one with like roast beef in it as a seasonal. Then all of a sudden it made it on our menu with just chicken, bacon, chipotle cheese, and
Yep.
boom, it's a popular, nice little makeshift calzone, I would say.
Yep.
Yeah.
No,
for
it's,
sure.
it's definitely a safe pick.
All right, well, I'm going to mention my second pick just because I know how many hundreds and hundreds of we make a week. The dreadful Carrie's Cobb.
Yeah.
The Carrie in front of it,
Yep.
she gets the bad
Carrie's
rap
Cobb.
for it amongst the staff years ago. But the Carrie's Cobb, nice, refreshing salad, has everything you want kind of on it. And people kind of do their own variety. But Carrie's Cobb, I would have to say, is probably tops on our salad menu. We
Yeah,
make more of
definitely.
those than most salads. Yeah.
One thing I noticed, like with all your salads, the presentation's always like
Oh,
perfect. Something
pristine.
It's like crazy, yeah. But
The egg is laid out
Yeah.
perfectly, sliced. I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't know. And
That's
then
it's the got to put it in rows to make the rows of Cobb.
Yeah.
A Cobb roast. So yeah, we take pride in that. Like
Sure,
salad
yeah.
makers take pride. So it's awesome.
that's good.
all right, so you're up again.
Oh, I get to go again.
Yep.
So I'm going untraditional. Nobody's probably going to think about it, but we have a really good seasonal Moscow mules. So we do different mules every season on the menu. So it's an alcoholic drink, so a lot of people don't get to try it. But if you ever around during the holidays and you're old enough to drink, I would say the Elf on the Shelf
Okay.
cocktail blows everything away. Like
Nice.
literally that 5-week period will sell more of those than all of our Moscow mules throughout the entire year.
Wow.
Just there, whether it's to go in a social district cup to walk through downtown, but Elf on the Shelf cocktail at Christmas time is a must try.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nobody in your audience would even think about recommend that as one of their top. But like I said, I just know from sales
Yeah.
that time of year I make
sure.
sure I have the cranberries in there
Right.
because they do this cranberry syrup with it, and it's just outstanding. They do
That's
a great
awesome.
job. It's a staple since 2012.
That's awesome.
All right, so let's see. Last pick. So
Don't take mine. Just
I've had it like one time. The one time I did have it, was really good, and I don't. I have a little insider info. Chad says it's really, it's pretty good. Pretty good seller. It's a spicy chicken bacon.
Yeah,
It's like-
spicy. That's
Oh.
Chad's
Yeah.
Chad's original.
yeah.
He's probably mad his name's not on that one, the Chad original. But no, he brought it up. It's like a tempura chicken with some bacon, some jalapenos, some spicy cheese, some ranch wrapped up, grilled
wow.
in a tortilla wrap. And so, yeah, it kicks butt. Like it kicks butt. And it's actually on our main menu now, so you have it year round.
Okay,
awesome.
nice. There you
Yeah.
go.
All
got,
right.
Chevy?
Last pick here. I'm very torn on this one. But I think I'm gonna go with the table fries.
Yeah.
Every time I go, I'm getting a side, whether I'm getting barbecue chicken pizza, table fries, Philly cheese, table fries. Like that's just go to. With the dill pickle sauce. Dill pickle sauce is key. You gotta have it with the
All those sauces.
you got the chipotle,
Really good.
everything. All the sauces are good, but I go dill pickle table fries. That's my last pick there.
And just to follow that up, because I followed up, I think every one of your guys' comments.
No, you can't.
the fry program at a restaurant, they do a great job.
Mhm.
I mean, they hand cut them, they do the rinsing, the blanching, the storage to bring them back out to fry them for you guys, to get them in the baskets and get them out with all the sauces that we make in house. The grill team does a great job.
Yeah.
With the prep team in the back that helps them out. So it's a team effort to get those fries out.
Oh yeah.
If you want to take it a step further, and the tempura fries, like to go, like I said, French fries are awesome in house. Sometimes to go, they don't hold the quality, kind of like other places that do hand cut fries.
Right.
But the tempura fries hold up for an extra couple hours. So if I order fries and I'm there, I know I'm not going to get to eat them for an hour, 2 hours. It's always tempura fries, so I can still have that crunch a couple
Right.
hours later.
That's good to know. That's always a good insight here. But I mean, I think it's kind of transition into kind of back to the business side and kind of what Casey's is. What kind of business tips? Now that we kind of touched on, like you said, we touched on your progression, your growth as a business, as a person, and growing up in Indiana, things such as this. What business tips do you kind of have for young entrepreneurs like Nick and I, and for anyone who is listening in terms of growing your own business, the lows, the highs, and what it takes to actually get to where you're at today?
Yeah.
It's a broad question, but
yeah,
I mean,
no. I answered it a little bit earlier by just saying, get your name out there.
Yep.
So whatever you do to get your name out there, whether it's dropping off posters, like I think you guys did the other day about your podcast, or I think it was posters and donuts. I think we were mounting some donuts the other day. But just getting your name out there and keep on reminding people. So a little bit easier with social media than it was years ago, but just get your name out there on every avenue, and so you can try to touch, and then make sure you're definitely touching your audience and reminding them that you're out there. Especially if you have a hardcore location that you want people to visit. And then too, I always tell people, I see these restaurants that go up and they spend millions and millions of dollars, and I'm like, how are they going to make their money back? Like, what is their game plan? Is it a 15-year payback? Like, so to me is start with your means. If you can get by at the start with just whatever little means you might have, whether for you guys, a photography equipment, if you can get away with 2 cameras versus having the best state-of-the-art camera, with the best this and that, wait till you bring some money in, then you can do that. So that way, in case something goes sideways, at least you have funds to get by in life versus going in the hole.
Yeah.
So we are very fortunate we didn't have to go in the hole right away because we started out with whatever we could scrape by with.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever we could get our hands on, we did. And like I said, the food company was grateful to us too by maybe letting our bill slide for an extra week, and I've been very grateful to them over the years and always bring that up in meetings I go to with them. So those are my two big tips: to let people know you're out there somehow, some way, pound the streets, let people know you're out there. And then two, definitely don't overdo your own means.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like that whole idea gets really misinterpreted. Cause like obviously you don't want to be like have that plan B mentality too much, but it's like you want to have like just one plan, right? But it's not to the point where it's like, okay, if it doesn't work out, like you're on the streets or something like that.
Right.
So what I'm saying is like you want to focus on that one thing that you're really trying to strive toward, and while you're doing that, if you have to work, if you have to work a part-time job during it to still be making money while you're growing your business, then do that, right? So
Exactly.
No, we have a perfect example. We had a girl that got out of med school.
Oh,
She was trying to build her practice up the road just north of us. Trying to build her practice. She came in and waitress for us 2-3 nights a week. She's like, I need some extra income until I build my practice up.
Exactly.
So if you're, and now they're kicking butt. Oh my gosh, the way they've expanded, awesome. Brookside Chiropractic. Shout out to them.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
oh my God, Rachel kicked butt, and now they're actually kicking so much butt up there.
That's awesome.
It's awesome. But we, if you don't have the willingness to put the time in, I would say don't do it.
Yep.
Like I said, it takes a lot of time. I mean, when we opened that bar up, so after being open from 2006 to 2012, in 2012 we opened the bar up. I remember I was there every day for 18 straight days.
Wow.
Every day, open to close, 18 straight days. And we had Sundays off, but I was always going over there cleaning and doing knickknacks on Sundays, and we still do today. But I always remember leaving on that 18th day, went home to finally relax. And that was when we had like a problem. A guy, like our tables were situated somewhere where nobody could see the couple sit down.
Yeah.
And they got up and left and like complained and said like, tell Casey, thanks for nothing. I literally got home like 20 minutes before this. And my manager called me and said, hey, this customer, and I knew the person. I'm like, oh man. And it took a while for that. And that was in the summertime. They finally came back. I saw them at Christmas time for the first time. So at least they came back.
Right.
But I'm sitting there going, oh my God, after 18 straight days kicking butt, and I was tired, exhausted. It was at the middle of August, and I went home, and sure enough. But like I said, that was just one thing that stuck with me 10 years later. But no, just if you're able to work it and do it yourself, do it. That saves you a little bit of money as well. But yeah, if you don't want to do it yourself, it's tough. Tough to run a business that way.
I feel even another thing people that some people misinterpret that are trying to start a business. If you're just doing it for the money, I feel like that's also when it's gonna fail, right? If you're not like following a dream or anything that you have, because I feel like that's how most businesses should start probably.
Exactly. No doubt.
Is chasing that like specific dream that you have, and then just building off of that. So talk about kind of the importance of that for you.
Yeah, so a little different for me because I had zero going into the business. So I had to work hard, had to do everything, and then we were having a family at the same time. So really had to kick butt and put and scrape and do everything. And that's why I said that when that COVID hit too, I was like, oh my God, what are we going to do?
Right.
Restaurants are closed. What are we going to do? So I feel like people that have a lot of money, if they have buku bucks, then they can get away with not being there.
Okay.
Or maybe they have a bunch of locations, or maybe they can pay this general manager, but still at the end of the day, they're not making as much at the end of the day than is if the three of us are having a business and we're working it ourselves versus paying managers after manager after manager to run it.
Exactly.
So, because you just got to be hands-on, you got to know.
Yeah.
Like I know how to change the plumbing in there because I'm the one who helped start it. I know how to fix some things so I don't have to call somebody and try to fix it. So there's a lot of things we can do internally with our staff. Our staff knows how to fix this or that or do this without calling somebody, where if you're not hands-on and you just have a lot of money, now you're calling and having that extra expense. So at the end of the day, you're just not as profitable. And that's when businesses sometimes will fail that way.
Yeah.
But I think the more time you have invested, the smoother your operation is going to be, and the quicker you're going to grow.
Sure.
Yeah, and I love how you touched on like being smart with your money, because I think a lot of times that, especially for young entrepreneurs, I know many times myself, I'm like, oh, maybe I should just get this new gear. It'll help me out a lot more. Like, but at the same time, you mentioned you touched on this earlier too. You have to be smart with what you're spending on and what you're not spending, because you said until you actually grow your business, if you can do, like you said, if you can do the plumbing yourself, you don't have to hire anybody. That helps you out in the long run. Excuse me, that helps you out in the long run. Doesn't force you to spend money on unnecessary things if you can do it yourself. So I think definitely some wise business tips there. And for any young entrepreneurs listening, I think like Hayes said, just go for it. Go for it. Work hard. It's put your nose down, and it's just grind it out. And
Right.
you will go through the lows, you will go through the highs, but you always just remember that everything's worth it at the end. I think obviously Casey's being here for, you said 16 years. It's been here in the City
16
Port here, and I
years,
think
yeah.
Prime example, right?
definitely definitely a prime example of that. So
And like you said, like even though it's your dream that you might be chasing, it's still gonna be hard work, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's never just gonna be all like sunshine and rainbows. So it's just how dedicated you are and how passionate you are about it. I feel
Yeah, like I said, I don't consider it a job because I enjoy doing it.
right.
mm-hmm.
I enjoy going there. I enjoy seeing my staff,
Yep.
and I know that a lot of the staff, it's their livelihood. So, like I said, if I'm helping them make a living for them and their family, it makes me even prouder.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
no, that's
Yeah.
definitely a good thing.
While we're on that topic still of just like the whole business side and tips for other people out there, I guess. You mentioned earlier about how you're advertising everything. I'd like to touch on a little bit about your events that you do sometimes. So, because I noticed one big one that you're always like pushing out to your customers is the Carhartt Day.
Yeah.
Like I noticed that like it's usually like a month or two beforehand you're pushing out some content for it. So, what is the Carhartt Day first of all, and just talk about it a little bit.
Yeah. So Carhartt Day was one of our original outdoor parties. So we've done different ones throughout the years just to give the staff a little bit of, I don't know, a unique work environment. So instead of just sitting there and going to a table after table throughout the day, we decided to throw a party, and that way the staff could just do different things during the, instead of just a typical shift. So what happened was I was bartending like in April, and it was freezing cold. Nobody was coming to the bar, and I just started talking with a guest, and she mentioned, I said, man, I can't even pay the heat in here with all these glass garage doors. It's freezing out. Nobody's in here. It's brutal. And she said, oh man, we should open the doors and just have an outdoor party. I'm like, oh yeah, we should. That'd be cool. We call it Carhartt Day because it's Michigan gear, and we can drink a workman's beer. And I think it started out as PBR, and we started this party in the first year. It was the last week of February. It was on the anniversary of the restaurant. And the first year, 10 people showed up, just the beer company.
Yeah.
That was it. And I remember sitting there going, holy crap, man, we're not going to make any money today. It's a Saturday night. I was like, let's shut these doors and let's get business going, because nobody came. Then the second year, we did the same thing. We advertised it again, but we put half the amount of staff on because nobody came the first year, but we wanted to try to keep it going. So we opened up the doors again. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, like 100 people just walked in the door. We're like, holy crap, we got like two waitresses on.
Oh my god.
And then I had like two bartenders. I literally sat there and just poured $2 PBRs all day.
Oh my
And
gosh.
like by that time we ran out of PBR, and then it was Bud Light, ran out of Bud Light. Genesee Cream Ale was PBR, and we just went through all of our taps and blew them all out. And from then it really gained notoriety, and then people started showing up, and now we got to cap the party. But what we did this year, because our size and our space, we can't put that too many people in our building because I'm legally, I think I can have 400 people, and sometimes 700 to 800 people were showing up,
Right.
and we just couldn't put them anywhere. Nobody could get a drink or anything, just the way our restaurant was set up. So the grateful thing with the plaza and the social district cup, that you can walk around the city with alcohol, as long as you have a special cup and you're in the city limits in their zone. We moved the party down to the plaza this past year, and actually got twice as many people, because now it became like a city event.
Yep.
We still call it Casey's Carhartt Day, but we were able to get people the drinks they need. They weren't butting into each other. We had 1,200 people. We had a lot of space. We had a kick butt DJ. Shout out to Mike McMillan, the second best DJ in 2 counties.
Shout out, Mike.
Yeah, he kicked butt for us, and we just had a great day, great event. Just good people show up. and
That's awesome.
zero altercation, nothing. Just with that many people, 200 people and alcohol involved, to have nothing happen was great. And actually, the city already announced it for next year, February 24th,
There you go.
2024. There's
Yeah.
it'd be the 11th, maybe
Mhm.
11th or 12th year of doing it. But like I said, it's just a nice day that now it's kind of like a city event, not just Casey's. So it went from a grassroots, very minimal advertising, to now a city event where they basically just advertise on social media, or they talk about like on the radio waves and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna mention. Was it you said it goes from, you come from these roots, like you said, building Casey's, and then once you finally kind of branch off and start to expand into the city, like you said, it becomes a city event, which is obviously good for your business, and that just shows that you're pushing, you're growing your business, and people now don't know you for just Casey's, but there's Casey's on the plaza, there's live bands, there's music, there's drinks. Everyone wants to be involved in that. I think that's great that you guys expanded the plaza, and it seemingly has helped you guys out a ton.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, the plaza has been great for the city, because if you drive by McMorran a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, just a fountain with a bunch of cement, not one person even stopping by to do anything there.
exactly.
And now, like last night, 500-600 people coming into downtown, eating at different restaurants. I know people were at Senior Tequila's, Brass Rail, like our place, coming down there with their folding chairs, setting up shop, listening to this free music that the city provides. Might be getting a cocktail from me, or going to a different spot in town, bringing a cocktail down, and just enjoying some live music. So it's been great with this. I'm super, even if I wasn't doing the Casey's in the Plaza, super blessed that the city did this,
Right.
because it helps our business out on a weekend for sure. Like I was here back and forth yesterday 2 or 3 times, and I saw the same customers at both spots.
Yeah.
And even if I wasn't running Casey's in the Plaza, they're still coming down to Casey's, spending their money, and then going down to the Plaza, even if it was Joe Schmo's on the Plaza. They're at least stopping by our restaurant too. So I just know that it's really bringing a lot of people downtown on the weekends.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been great.
The whole downtown really, I feel like it's just like booming, right? I feel like we're really just on that brink of it, like becoming like a, I guess, destination, right? We have the Wrigley Center opening, Plaza's making improvements all the time, and like with the winter now in the Plaza with the ice rink, all these different improvements. So I think it's like a huge shout out to anybody that's working on this through the city.
Yes.
We're just super happy with how our downtown is growing, and I feel like a lot more people, just like from out of town, like I said, are going to be more attracted to this city now that we have all these major improvements being made.
Yeah, it's a sleeper city. It's a sleeper, but like I said, we're still here after 22, 23 years now, living here, just because that blue water is so blue.
Oh, yeah.
And when people start seeing that, more and more people come up. I know there's not much property left for sale out there on that blue water. But like I said, downtown, more and more restaurants are opening up. Got a few more to come. Like I said, the Wrigley Center is opening up next week. That's going to draw a lot of attention, a lot of music, cool vibe in there as well. Different food in there. The Renaissance Man, the craft distillers here in town. I know a barbecue place is moving in. Ice cream shop just reopened up where the old Jimmy John's was. Like, so there's a lot happening. So the more that people come downtown, it's better for everybody.
Right. I mean, and this is exactly why we're starting this podcast, right? It's for people to know, like we said in the beginning, what makes Port Huron such a beautiful city it is, and an uprising city that it is. With all the new renovations, restaurants, shops, things that it's doing, we really want to use this podcast as a safe way and a platform for people to understand why we love this city so much and why it's on the rise. So we really appreciate,
we got a comment on it's like I don't know if you saw it earlier today. I wanted like our little intro video, and it said Port Huron used to be known as like the mini Detroit or something like that. And I feel like we're getting right back to that point now. So super excited to kind of see more improvements on kind of what happens along the way.
And I mean, I don't know if I think that's a good. Do you have anything else you want to mention to Casey or?
I think I'm good. Casey, did you have anything that you wanted to say to the audience at all?
No, I would like to say thanks for you guys for having me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm honored to be the first guest, and I'm hoping this podcast grows and grows and grows, and people see it, hear it from all different areas and visit our great city.
Mhm.
Like I said, I wouldn't live here if I didn't love it. And I do. I love it. I feel like, except like May to middle of February, I feel like you're on vacation every day. And when you drive
Exactly.
down that water line, you feel like you're on vacation. So I just, it's a safe, nice, good people city. And more stuff starting to open and develop, and pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I'm pretty lucky that I landed here and I can call this place home.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, if you haven't like been out of your if you haven't been out of your house lately, just take a day, just go downtown, go down by the water, and kind of realize that we really do take this whole city for granted, right?
Yep.
So I think it's just important to appreciate what we have here instead of saying like, oh, I wish I was in Florida, or I wish I was in Hawaii or something like
Exactly.
that. Obviously, it's always fun to travel, but just kind of make the most of what you have here.
Yeah,
So.
I would not leave Michigan, especially Port Huron, June through October.
Oh no, it's beautiful.
No, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I wouldn't be any other place like you guys said. I mean, it's perfect here, and I love it. So, but yeah, Casey, we want to thank you so much for being our very first guest on Talk the Town podcast. I want to thank you guys for listening. We also want to thank Mark Bynum for letting us use this space, the Mortgage Man. Make sure you contact him from any of your mortgage needs. And we're very appreciative of the space that we have to have our very first guest, Casey Harris. So we're going to end that. We'll wrap it up by saying that. And thank you guys. And be on the lookout for more content coming soon. So.
And one more thing. Make sure, Casey, you just released your seasonal menu.
Yes.
So, hey, go out, get the guac. It's the first time in 3 years, right?
Yeah.
First time in 3 years. All right. So get the guac, get the poke bowl, I believe it's called. All the other
Get everything.
seasonal menus,
Just get
right?
everything.
Come and check us out.
Get it all.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and we will catch you in the next one.
Awesome. Thank you guys.